We are back from the international break, and Forest will be hosting Brighton this weekend. I got my boy Maz from Seagull Social Podcast. How are you, bro? It's good to see you again.
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm just glad it's over, mate. This international break. We're clear till March now, thank God, man. It feels like it was like every couple of weeks you start to build a bit of momentum, and then the stupid international break comes. But I think
it actually came at a good time for us, to be honest with you. I think we got a lot of injuries, so I was actually quite grateful in a weird way. Usually, I'm the same as you. I'm not a big fan of international break, but in this instance, I was like, do you know what? Let's take it. Let's regroup and hopefully come back stronger.
Before we get into that, guys, Maz is an absolute legend. Make sure you go check his channel out, Seagull Social Podcast. It will be in the title. All you got to do is click on that hyperlink, give him a subscribe, because he's an absolute top bloke, even though he does support a crappy club. So make sure you go give him some love, guys. But yeah, Maz, can I start with those injuries? Because I was trying to piece together your team yesterday on the preview we did on our channel. And honestly, first time I was stumped this week because I'm not sure who's fit and who's not. I'm hearing Ferguson might be out, he might be in. Mitoma might be out, he might be in. The only one I was sure was Daoud. I know he's suspended. But yes, the injury front, mate, what's the latest that you know from your end?
Yeah, so we saw, as we do as football fans, we love to watch like the admin posting any sort of training video. So Tariq Lamptey was back in training. Ferguson was back in training. You also had Mitoma back in training. So it looks likely that Mitoma and Ferguson will both be part of the squad. I don't know whether they'll start or not. So that's obviously encouraging from our side, probably not encouraging from your end. Welbeck's definitely still out, and Cisso's long term. And then who else have we got? Lewis Dunk. He had some because he had to pull up the England squad as well. So
yeah,
he's a bit of a doubt. So yeah, we've definitely got some issues. And Estepinian is long term as well. So we're not sure when he's back as well. So yeah, Estepinian definitely is like a key sort of figure missing, which as you've seen, defensively we've not been great. But hopefully Lewis Dunk is fit to play, and yeah, we can have Ferguson up top and Mitoma on the left. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure where we're at with everything because I'm not privy to physio talks at the club. But yeah, I'm hoping we're not too far off with regards to some players coming back.
Do you think they're fit enough to start? I know it's all speculation, but are you thin enough that they might be risked?
I think he loves to play Mitoma like sort of whenever. He's only been he's like been the main consistent player, to be honest, because he loves to chop and change the season. So if Mitoma is fit, he'll be starting. I think that's pretty much nailed on. But if he is not, because again he pulled out the Japan squad, so I just don't know where everyone is at. So I just can't give you an answer, to be honest.
I know what you're saying, bro. I was struggling when I looked at it. The other thing I was struggling with was kind of nailing down a formation that you guys are set on, because I know you said you chop and change, but De Zerbi does it quite a lot, doesn't he? I've seen you guys play in a 4-2-3-1, a 4-3-3, I think even like a 4-4-1 as well a few times this season.
We played 3 at the back last game as well, for the international break.
You got a man sent off as well, so
Dahoud, I was at that game as well. It was dire, man. Sheffield United, it was poor game, bro. Like just going 1-0 down. Going 1-0 up, dominating the first half, and then the red card just absolutely killed us. And they got back into the game and got a draw. So it's just frustrating time at the moment. I think we're just sort of we're our own worst enemy at the moment, which is frustrating. But hopefully we can turn around against you boys.
What is the settled formation like? If De Zerbi's had a favourite, what do you guys tend to go with?
So it's usually a 4-2-1-3. That's usually how it is. With the striker, 2 wingers, sort of the 10 role, the 2 midfielders, and then the back 4, and obviously the goalkeeper. That's usually what he likes to play. With for example, Estepinian fit and Veltman at right back. That's usually what we go for. But I think because of what's been going on recently with injuries and suspensions, I think he played 3 at the back against Sheffield United, which actually worked all right. I didn't actually mind it at all. But it's a tough one because you just don't know who's going to start. He's just so unpredictable this season because of Europe. He's just been crazy unpredictable.
Do you think that's cost you a bit? Because you haven't won in about 6 at the moment.
Yeah.
Now, do you
for
think
reminding me,
you've
mate.
been stretched too thin? Because I know a lot of the talk in the summer was, everyone bigs up Brighton and their model, and we hear about it all the time. I get sick of it, bro. No offense, but it's like it's like constant. Like the amount of Forest fans are like, yeah, if we could just implement the Brighton model, and I'm like, can't we just implement the Forest model? Yeah, Brighton have done a great job. I know. Yeah, I'll say it through gritted teeth, but has it stretched you a bit thin? Because you're doing all right there, right? You're second in the group and you look like you will qualify. But has that cost you Premier League wise, in your opinion, bro?
I think so. Well, look, let's be honest. We're 8th in the league. You're in 14th, so we can't be doing that bad. But as a joke.
Shots fired.
Shots fired. No, I'm only messing. No, like to be in an eighth position at this point in the season, it's not awful. Considering, like you said, we're in a European competition and we're second in the Europa League groups as well with a tough group: Ajax, Marseille, and Athens. So, it's not an awful place to be at this stage of the season. But I think because our expectations have just risen each season and they've got bigger and bigger. Look, we're not by no means like a huge club by any stretch of the imagination, but we're batting above our sort of station at the moment. But we're looking comfortable at times, like against some of the big teams, we don't look out of place. Like we've had some really good results against the likes of Arsenal, Liverpool, even City we beat last season. Like
United, you destroyed United.
Beat Man United 3-1. Yeah, so like we don't look out of place, and we're not. But like you said, we haven't won since in the league since September, which is insane. So the back end of September, sorry, against Bournemouth, I think it was. So it is worrying, the league form, like the amount of draws we're getting, especially. It just seems like we can't sort of win games at the moment, and especially against a decent Forest side as well. I know you guys have got some injuries as well, but it's going to be a really, really tough game. I just hope we can pick up wins in the league. I think that's really key. Is we're getting wins. We've got back-to-back wins against Ajax in the Europa League. Admittedly, a very poor Ajax side, but we just need to transfer that into the Premier League form. And I just don't know where it goes. Defensively, we're not strong. Going forward, we're not scoring as many goals as we need to. So I just don't know what needs to change. I think I personally would like to see more consistency from De Zerbi, just in terms of his selection. And I know he's trying to do this whole, sort of, I don't know what he's trying to prove, but I think he's trying to show that we need to rotate. He needs to keep the squad fresh, but at the same time, we haven't got that core and that consistency. And I think that's what's been letting us down. So that's what I'd like to see, if we can just keep a consistent sort of lineup for at least 3 games.
It's tough though. It's tough. You are stretched, but it's interesting what you say about the league form, because I almost feel like you've done better against the big boys. Do you know what I mean? And I feel that you've struggled against the low block teams, and that kind of reflected a little last season, because we definitely low blocked against you, especially at your place. I mean, that was one. I don't think we even tried to get into your half in that away game last year. And then obviously we were able to turn a deficit round at the City Ground last year. But is that something you think you will struggle with, is teams coming up against you with low block and then you're struggling to break them down?
No, mate, you're bang on. Yeah, that's exactly our issue. Like Sheffield United, man. Like, there's a prime example. Last game, we dominated the first half. We really sort of, again, when I say dominate, we dominate possession, which is a different thing. Possession doesn't win games, unfortunately, as much as it's great. I know the big sides, Man City. You look at the Continental. The Bayern Munich, all that, like to dominate possession, but that doesn't necessarily always win you games. That they're good at converting their chances, but we're not. We're not as clinical. So I think, definitely you're right. Like, the low block teams really frustrate us. We don't really have a second, like a plan B when it comes to those low block. We love when teams come on to us, like you mentioned, like a Man City, Liverpool, Man United. When those teams attack us, we're really good at getting at them on the counter and just sort of taking our chances. But it seems like the low block teams do frustrate us, and we don't have that plan B of like, right, what do we do now? What do we do against the low block? And I think De Zerbi, I think he has to come up with some kind of plan or system to combat that, because otherwise we're going to keep struggling against these low block teams. And that's one big thing. I'm not saying you're a low block team, but you're not the most expansive, let's say, in comparison to the top 4. You're not the most expansive in that respect. So I think we're gonna have similar problems against you guys. But I'm really glad Awoniyi is injured. I don't wish injury upon players, but he's a very good player, and I'm glad he's not playing against us, because I think physically he'll give our defenders a real problem. He's a handful physically, which we struggle with when it comes to like a physical forward. So I'll be real. And is it Elanga? Is he out as well?
I don't know, bro. Like Cooper's very cryptic with the injuries. So Elanga did come back with a knock. I think he will play. Basically, because we ain't got no one else. That's our problem at the moment. Like we recruited, as everyone memes, we got like 6 billion players. Yeah, we know, but we didn't get many attackers. So like our core attacking four, if you like, is Taiwo, you got Elanga, Callum Hudson-Odoi, and then Morgan Gibbs-White. Callum Hudson-Odoi is out. Taiwo's out for 3 to 4 months now as well. Elanga, I think, will start because I'm just not sure what he'll do if he's not fit. You know, if he's not available. So I think we'll probably have Chris Wood up front, who isn't going to give you the problems of Taiwo. He's just not got the pace. And then I think Elanga will play on the left, Morgan Gibbs-White on the right, which I don't really like because I think he's kind of square pegging around Holder. I prefer him in the 10. So yeah, I'm worried as well. I've got the same worries as you in terms of the injuries, and then not sure how exactly he's going to piece the team together. And then we've got Murillo, who's our Brazilian wonder kid centre back, who's like this, man. He's absolutely chiseled up. He pulled his hamstring against West Ham. So I think he's going to be out. So again, I'm not sure what he's going to do with the centre back. So it's an awkward one, especially when you feel there's been that 2-week break from the international period and you don't know how the team's going to come back. So yeah, I'm a little worried as well, bro, if that makes you feel any better.
Not really, no. But I know we on FK, I was at the playoff semis for work. So for work, I was at the game, the Nottingham Forest game in the playoffs last year, and I was saying on our podcast, like the atmosphere you guys create is actually really decent. I know it's a Saturday 3 p.m, which probably isn't going to have the same sort of effect, but like when I was there on that night, I think not Huddersfield, was it Huddersfield?
Sheffield United.
Sheffield United, that's it. There you go. Yeah, of course it was. It was when Samba had an absolute masterclass. Like that evening was incredible. The atmosphere there was class. And obviously last year it was an evening game, I'm pretty sure, wasn't it? When you beat us 3-1. And like the atmosphere was decent. And we just crumbled. So like if your crowd can get behind you and make it difficult for us, and I think there's no reason why not. Like you could easily beat us. It's not like one of those games where you think, oh, we're going to go there and get a win. It's not like that at all. Without sounding cliche, I think any game in the Premier League's, a difficult game, but especially Forest away. So I'm not going into it confident at all. I'd love to say, oh yeah, we'll get a win, but I couldn't say that with chest. So I predicted a draw, but we'll see how we get on.
Oh, I'm kind of with you on that one. What I will say is we haven't lost at City Ground since I think Man U about March, April time last year. It's just so you're right. It is the atmosphere. However, there have been like a lot of the fan base, like it's not the same atmosphere as it was last year. Maybe because it's second season, maybe because we'd played the shitty teams like your Burnleys and Luton at home so far this season. But against Villa, the atmosphere was better. We were able to turn Villa over. And for me, that's where Cooper's strengths are, is playing those teams that he's expected to be the underdog in. He tends to I feel like he can go into his default, which is low block and then counter attack. Yeah. Whereas when it's a Luton or a Burnley, the onus is on us to attack. And that's where he struggles. A bit like what you're saying with Zerbi, he doesn't know how to break that down. And Cooper has similar elements to it. But from what you've seen as Forest so far, I'm interested from an external outsider point of view. How do you feel Forest season's been? Are we where you would have thought we were, higher, lower, etc.?
I mean, I think with Forest, like you said, there's been a lot of additions. Some good, some not so great. But on the whole, I think your recruitment's actually not been that bad. Like signing Sangare for me was a huge coup. I think to be able to attract a player like Sangare, because we were linked with him. I know a lot of the other sort of Premier League clubs are linked with him. A few European clubs as well. So to be able to get him to come to the club, obviously there's a vision there. There's a project that Forest are building, and you know, I think you've got some really good players. You mentioned the sort of attacking options. I know a few are injured now, but Awoniyi, Elanga, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Morgan Gibbs-White, that's like a really good attacking option. So yeah, I think you've got a decent squad. I think your form hasn't been the best as probably as you'd like as a Forest fan, and especially was it against West Ham last time out. I know that was a bit of a weird game.
I didn't hear the end of it from Lawless, mate. I don't know.
Oh no, he's the worst.
2 weeks of him and Jace bloody just sitting on it, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. Lawless is the worst person to lose to, I think. But yeah, going 2-1 up against West Ham and then obviously losing 3-2 is probably never nice as a fan. So yeah, I think you guys haven't probably been at your best, but I don't know what your best is. I don't know like where I expect you to be. I don't think you're definitely not like relegation candidates at all. Like you're definitely comfortable. But I don't know where you sort of sit. Like, are you a Conference League chasing team? Probably not. But you're not like a bottom half struggling team. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like a weird one for me. It's like where you're sort of just in the middle in a respectful way. But you definitely got the squad. Like you said, you mentioned Murillo as well for the like going forward, signing players for and you got is it Danilo as well? I want to say
Danilo, yeah, he scored against you in our home leg, didn't he, last year?
Yeah,
that's the turning point.
Yeah. So like I mentioned, you've got some really good players. It's just I don't think Cooper's the one. I just don't think he's a progressive manager to take you maybe to the heights that you guys probably want as football fans. I just think he's sort of a bit of a run-of-the-mill sort of manager in a as respectful as I can say it. I think there's probably better out there, but he's done a very good job for you. I'm not discrediting his job that he's done so far. I just don't know if he's the guy to sort of take you to new levels.
I think that's an interesting point because like 99.99% of the fan base are fully behind Cooper and what he's doing. Whereas I kind of can see what you're saying. It's like, is this his level? Is this his limit? And to take that next step on because the squad is good, is he that guy to do it? But that starts a whole goddamn debate, man.
Well, no, it's very similar to sort of, again, I know you mentioned earlier about the Brighton one, and you don't want to sort of compare yourselves, but we had a very similar thing where we came to the Premier League, because we've only been in the Premier League, what, 6 years now? 6 years? And we had the similar thing. So obviously Chris Hughton was great, done a really good job for us, but
please don't say his name out loud.
The man who should not be named. He done a great job for us, and you know, it got to a time where we were like, he can't take us any further. Like, he kept us in the league, but we need to, if we want to progress, we need to get better. And yeah, obviously Graham Potter came in, done an incredible job. Again, he obviously got poached with Chelsea, and obviously his career crashed and burned, but made a good bit of money. And then De Zerbi came, so like every time he's sort of like leveling up in a sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just feel like sometimes the owners have just got to be like, Tony Bloom made a big call sacking Hughton because he was a bit of a fan favourite at the time. And I suppose similar sort of vibes to Cooper, I suppose. I know a lot of fans like him. So I'm not saying sack him or anything like that, but like come the end of the season, it might be one of those where you think, right, next year, are we actually going to get better?
Progress. Yeah.
And then sort of take it from there. But look, you play better than I do, but that's just from an outsider's perspective.
It's an interesting perspective. And speaking of managers, bro, you messaged me the other day saying De Zerbi being linked to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
How you feeling about that?
It's actually now been debunked, which I'm very happy about. Apparently, it was all like fake news, like slash. So it actually came from like a sort of reputable source. It was I believe they're called Sport in Spain. They're like a big sort of publisher, and so when I saw that, I was like, oh wow, like, that's quite like a credible newspaper saying these things. But then it's come out since that apparently like Xabi Alonso's their favourite. They're not really looking at De Zerbi. De Zerbi's happy, and he's also got a clause in his contract that he actually can't leave during the season. So all these things that have come out, I'm actually quite happy about now. So it's made me feel a little bit more at ease. However, I mean, I'm a realist. I'm not stupid. I think he's probably destined for bigger things than Brighton Hove Albion. But look, whilst we got him, I'm going to enjoy him. I'm going to enjoy the ride and see where he gets us.
Everyone behind him still, even with the shaky kind of last few weeks you've had. How's the mood in the fan base of it?
Yeah, definitely. I think, look, again, I think as fans, we can be so fickle, can't we? And we're like, oh, look, oh, we got Europa League, blah blah blah, and like you get all caught up in it. Like you think you're this big
Yeah.
team and this big club, and we're the best. We're Brighton of Albion, like getting all cocky. It's like we've got to just sort of settle a little bit and think where we've come from, where we're at right now. Like we're still doing well. Like I said, we're 8th in the league. We're 2nd in the group in Europa. Like it's not all doom and gloom. So yeah, no, I think there's a small fraction of the fan base that are getting a bit frustrated and voicing their concerns about form and him being inconsistent and stuff, which is fair. He's not immune from criticism, but at the same time, it's like let's just settle down a bit. We're not relegation. We're not in the relegation zone like West Ham last season. We're chilling. We're good. We're in a good little spot. So don't panic yet. Obviously, let's say come to the end of December, for example, and we're maybe got like 1 or 2 wins, then yeah, cool. You can maybe have a bit of a panic. But right now, just
too early.
Enjoy it. Enjoy where we're at. We're still doing well. We're in Europe. We're still doing all right in the league, sort of mathematically anyway. Form's not great, but hopefully we can turn it around against you boys and kick on.
Well, go on. And who's going to be enjoying it at 5 p.m. on Saturday? What you thinking score-wise for this one, Maz?
So on our podcast, we did a thing where we did a scoreline based on our heart, on our head, and a scoreline based in our heart. So I'll do the same. My head's saying 1-0, but my heart is saying 1-0 Brighton.
Yeah, you'll be the first team that wins at the City Grounds this season.
There you go. Records are there to be broken, my friend. So
I don't know, mate. I think my head and my heart are both saying a draw. I think both managers would probably take that and kind of build on that and move on.
I don't know if we'd take it, to be honest, because purely because of how bad our form's been. Like I said, we haven't won since Bournemouth in late this September.
Yeah,
I think to go like, I know it's not, like I said, it's not the end of the world because of where we are in the league, but we need to start getting back to some kind of consistent form and like getting some wins here and there. And I don't mean this in a horrible way, but like we need to be picking up points against Forest. Like if we're not going to pick up points against you, who are we going to pick up points against? Not in a horrible way, but like I think you think the same. Don't lie. You think the same about us, right? Like if we don't get points against Brighton, then
I am. We're coming into a decent run now. We got you, then Everton, and the likes of Fulham and Wolves, etc. So I mean, we've had a shitty run to start with. We had like Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea, Man U, all the way from home back to back start the season with. But again, we did okay in those games. I think this period for us is the one that worries me because there's games coming up where we might be the favorites in the game. I'm not talking about the Brighton game. I'm talking like the ones coming up. And I just worry how we're going to react to them because I still have this theory in my head that Cooper prefers to be the underdog rather than the aggressor. So I actually see this game as a bigger chance because he will see himself as the underdog in it, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah.
And we took 4 points off you last year, which is one of the surprisingly, it's one of the most points we took in the pairings of the games last season from any team. And I just wonder, I think potentially that low block may screw you over, but I don't think we will play a low block because Cooper's trying to progress it almost into a mid block, if you like. So it's going to be fascinating. I think it's going to be a draw. I just think it stinks of a draw to me.
Yeah, no, mate, I'm the same. Like I said, my head says a draw. Obviously, I'd love a win, as any fan would say. But yeah, I agree with you. I think a draw is probably how it's going to play out. But as long as it's a nice, high-scoring score draw, I'll take it. At least make it enjoyable.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, bro, I could talk to you all day. I was just looking, we've already run well over 20 minutes, man, and it's been crazy. I know we got both of us loads of stuff to do. So just a quick shout out. Like I said at the start of the video, Seagull Social Podcast, the link is in the title. Do you want to just let the boys and girls know just quickly what's covered in there and where else they can find you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So yeah, just all things Brighton, Hove Albion, and match previews, reviews, all that good stuff that you see on this channel as well. And yeah, just follow me on Seagull Social and Masmers are there at Masmers are there, as it says on the screen there, on all socials as well, all social platforms as well. And also, just finally, make sure if you're watching this, subscribe because they're 15 subscribers away from hitting the big 15K. So yeah, if you're watching this and not subscribed, what are you playing at?
Exactly. Subscribe to both channels. Maz, it's been an absolute pleasure as always, bro. Best of luck to you after Saturday, and let's see if this draw plays out, man. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.